Hello, last time we have taken the charging by induction and the properties of the charge, like the conservation of the charge and the quantization of the charge. Now today we are taking the Coulomb's law. If the charge is stationary and we are taking the minimum two charge, then between these two charge the electric force is act. If there are the same type of the charge, plus charge and plus charge, then the repulsion takes place. Same way, if there are the negative charge and negative charge, then also the repulsion takes place. But if there are the positive charge and negative charge, then between them the attraction forces takes place. So we are taking the two charges, any one, q1 and q2 charge. If the q1 and q2 charge are having some distance between each other, then the electric force is act between them. This electric force is given by the Coulomb's law. The distance between q1 and q2 charge is taken by the r. Here the medium is air medium. Then q1 charge and q2 charge, they repel each other. Same way, if you are taking the minus q1 charge and minus q2 charge, then also they repel. So here repulsion takes place. The force is repulsive force. If one charge is positive charge, other charge is negative charge, then attraction takes place. So here the attractive force takes place. So this force is given by the equation that force is directly proportional to the product of the charge q1 and q2, and this force is also proportional to 1 upon r square. It is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So combinedly we can write F proportional to q1 q2 upon r square. So the force is given by proportionality constant small k q1 q2 upon r square. Here this force is directly proportional to the product of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So the proportionality constant we are taking is a small k, and the value of the small k is given by 9 into 10 raised to 9 unit. F is equal to k q1 q2 upon r square. The k is given by 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square upon Coulomb square. Here k is the proportionality constant and the k is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, where epsilon 0 is permittivity of medium, and the value of this permittivity of the medium is here air or the vacuum. So epsilon 0 is the permittivity of the air or the vacuum, and it is given by 8.85 10 raised to minus 12 unit. The unit of the epsilon 0 is inverse of the unit of the proportionality constant k. So we can write it is Coulomb square upon Newton meter square. Now another point we are taking, when the charge is kept in the medium like the glass medium or the water medium or any dielectric constant medium, the medium which is having the dielectric constant, in that case the electric force value is changed. The electric force value is decreased by this force value when the charge is kept in the air or the vacuum, then we are getting the value is F. But if you kept the charge in the medium, then the value is become decreased by the F. How it is decreased, let us see. When you kept the charge in the medium, this is the medium, example water, plastic, glass. So in that case, here the epsilon is taken as the permittivity of medium. So the new force F dash or the F medium is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 upon the distance r square. In the case of the charge in the air medium, then we are taking the F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 upon r square. Here we are taking the medium is air or the vacuum. Here we are taking the medium any medium like this. Okay, then if you take the ratio of these two equations, F upon Fm, we are getting epsilon upon epsilon 0. F upon Fm is given by epsilon upon epsilon 0. That is the ratio of the permittivity in the medium to the permittivity in the air or the vacuum. This ratio of the permittivity is given by the relative permittivity. Relative permittivity. And this relative permittivity is known as the dielectric constant capital K. Dielectric constant capital K. Remember here small k, that is the proportionality constant, and capital K is dielectric constant. So Fm, force in the medium, is given by F upon capital K. So in this way the force act in the medium is decreased by K. So this is the relation in which we are using the Coulomb's law. Now we are taking the Coulomb's law in the vector form. Coulomb's law in the vector form. See, here we are taking the force, electric force. It may be attractive force or the repulsive force due to the polarity of the charges. So the force is vector quantity. That's why we are taking the Coulomb's law in vector form. So for that, let us consider one x-axis, y-axis. Here we have kept the charge Q1 and here is the charge Q2. Q1 and Q2. This is the reference point 0 or the O. From the reference point, we are taking the position vector to the Q1 is given by the R1. You can see in this figure, the position vector is here R2. As both the charges are positive charge, they repel each other. So the Q1 is repelled by Q2 in this direction. So this is the force known as the force act on the first charge due to the second charge, and the direction is given by this F12. We can write F12. So F12 is given by force act on first charge due to second charge. So this is the repulsive force. Here also the Q2 is repelled by the first charge. This force is given by F21, force on the second charge due to the first charge. So how we can write the equation of the F12 or the F21? We are using the Coulomb's law, and this is the vector quantity. So we can write the vector quantity like F12 is equal to magnitude F12 into unit vector. So here we are taking the unit vector in the direction of the F12. So here unit vector is given by the difference of the position vector R1 minus R2. R1 and R2 difference. So here we can write the unit vector as a R12 here. So what is the unit vector R12? R12 is given by R1 minus R2 upon magnitude R1 minus R2. How we can denote the direction of the R12 in the direction of the F12? By taking R1 minus R2 or the R2 minus R1. If you check the R1 minus R2 or the R2 minus R1, you can check the direction of the F12. The direction which is in the direction of the F12 is taken as the unit vector. So here R1 minus R2 we are taking, this is the R1, here is the R2. If you take the opposite vector of the R2, then it is like this. So here this is, we are taking the minus R2. R1 plus minus R2, the direction is this. So this is the direction of the R1 minus R2. So from this we can take the unit vector R12. This is the unit vector R12 equal to R1 minus R2 upon magnitude R1 minus R2. So the F12 is written by K Q1 Q2 upon R12 vector square, its magnitude square, into unit vector R12. So it is written as the K Q1 Q2 upon magnitude of R1 minus R2 whole square into R1 minus R2 vector difference upon magnitude R1 minus R2. So in generally we can write F12 is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon magnitude of R1 minus R2 raised to 3 into R1 vector minus R2 vector. So this is the Coulomb's law in the vector form. This is the Coulomb's law in the vector form. Now same way, if we are taking the F21 which is opposite to the F12, we can also derive the equation of the F21 like this, and we can get the F21 is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R2 minus R1 whole cube into R2 minus R1, and here R21 unit vector is given by R2 minus R1 upon magnitude of the R2 minus R1. So we can say that F21 is equal to minus F12, as we are removing the minus 1 sign from this bracket, or we are taking the minus 1 as common from this bracket, then we can write minus K Q1 Q2 upon magnitude of R2 minus R1 whole cube into R1 minus R2. So this term is become the F12, and we can write F21 is equal to minus F12. Another term here, we are taking magnitude of the R1 minus R2 is equal to magnitude of the R2 minus R1. R1 minus R2 magnitude is given by R2 minus R1, and it is the distance between two charge. So here also we have given the figure in which the Coulomb's law is given in the vector form, and we have derived that F12 is minus F21, which denote that it agrees with the Newton's third law of the motion. Another topic from this we are taking, that is the superposition theorem in the case of the electric force. Now another term, superposition theorem. What is the superposition theorem? If you are taking the one charge Q1, here is the Q2, here is the Q3, then Q2 and Q3 they applied the force, electric force on the charge Q1. So the charge Q1, let us take all these charge are positive charge. So here we are taking, this is the F1 due to 2. The force exerted on the Q1 charge due to Q2 charge in this direction. The force exerted due to the Q3 charge on the Q1 charge in this direction. F1, 3. Same way you can take the another charge Q4. Due to that, the force exerted on the Q1 is F14. Same way we can take the N charges. Here is the N charge, Qn charge, and due to that the force exerted is given by the F1n. So net electric force act on the Q1 charge due to the all other charges is vector sum of individual forces. This is the superposition theorem. The resultant force or the net force act on the charge is given by the vector sum of all the individual electrical force act on that charge. So we can write here F1 is equal to F12 plus F13 plus F14 plus so on plus F1n. This is the superposition theorem. So it is the vector sum of individual force act on the charge. So superposition theorem is what? It is the resultant force act on the charge which is equal to the vector sum of the individual force act on that charge. Another interesting topic about the Coulomb's law is what? That Coulomb's law, it is only applicable for the stationary charge. Is only applicable for stationary charge. The other charge does not make effect on the electric force due to the another charge. If you are taking the F12 force, okay, then on the F12 force there is no effect by the charge Q3. So any other charge does not make any effect on the electric force due to the other charges. This is also the one property of the Coulomb's law. The electric force is generally known as the Coulomb force also. So in this chapter we have studied about the Coulomb's law in the magnitude form and Coulomb's law in the vector form, and superposition theorem, in which we have taken the so many forces act on the one single charge, then the resultant force on that single charge is given by the vector sum of the individual forces. In the next session we will take the example based on the Coulomb's law in the vector form and superposition theorem. Thank you.